There we go. Oh, oh, there's a good one. There's a good one. Oh, look at that one. And guess what? Sometimes when it's tough, you put on old reliable and go throw a jig in the brush, and that's what happens. Perfect. Man, that was fun. Let me show you exactly what happened there. So we just got out here and just started looking for deeper cover, and you can see some brush piles on LiveScope, and I didn't necessarily see that fish. I just threw up there to where there was a lot of cover. No different if I was going down the bank visibly pitching into brush piles. I just couldn't see this one with my naked eye. I saw it with the LiveScope, threw my jig right up into the thickest part of it, and got a good one to bite. Let's do that again. I'm not necessarily looking for particular fish, but I'm still looking for what I would consider the sweetest spots, which is where the densest part of the cover is. 2D is still great. I mean, you can still find it with it, you know, just idle over it, mark it, and then come back and fish it. Where if you do have, you know, LiveScope, you can at least throw to the cover before you get to it, and you know, you kind of keep your cast in the strike zone a little bit better too. Where, you know, with 2D, it's better to throw a marker buoy out and then find the sweet spot, and then you know where to throw it as well. There's the little guy. Ooh, right into the trolling motor. That one got it good. Hook good, right where it's supposed to be. You know, a big thing to do, like on a lake with matted grass, is guys go around and they punch the matted grass, and they'll flip a big jig in there, and you know, you don't get a lot of bites, but when you get bites, a lot of times they're big ones. Well, essentially that's what we're doing here. It's just we can't see the edges, and you know, we can't see these brush piles, so that's where I'm utilizing my LiveScope, and I'm just going along anywhere that I'm seeing what looks like a bigger, thicker target on LiveScope here, and I'm just throwing this jig out over the top of it, and every once in a while I drop it down in there and get a bite, like so. Don't roll, fish landing violation, no. So, you know, you catch some decent fish, but every once in a while, there should be a big one. As you can see, we've got a pretty good breeze here, and the jig just wasn't, it was falling okay, but it's hard to detect a strike. And so I went to a heavier 3/4 ounce jig and experimented a little bit with, you know, like the big chunk style trailer, but then finally just kind of resorted back to my favorite, just a kind of a rabbit-eared type of trailer. And I like those because they don't have a lot of swimming action to them, so they don't create a lot of drag in the water. I feel like that fast fall is important, and you know, I'm trying to get it down there quickly. I'm trying to get, you know, the reaction strike out of those bags. You know, I want them to see that bait coming down quickly, and I don't want them to be able to have a lot of time to make up their mind. Sometimes I think that's what allows you to get the better bite. I want to see an actual brush pile, and so I'm just scanning along here, and when I see it, I want to try to land right on top of that target, not past it. I want it to land right on top of that target and fall straight down. I'm just trying to keep it, you know, 30 feet out or so, and let that bait, I'm letting it fall on a slack line. And every once in a while, I'll try to watch it on my LiveScope if I'm able to see it. But the main thing is, I want it to fall down into a brush pile. Every once in a while, I may work it through the branches a little bit, but it seems like most of your bites are gonna come on that initial fall or the first hop, that when you hop that bait up through that brush pile. Another part of it that is so important is being a line watcher. You know, I'll throw out there to a target, and the entire time that thing's sinking. I want it falling on a slack line, but I'm always watching that line, because a lot of times on those strikes, you'll just see that line jump or swim off to the side or something. And I'd say when it comes to fishing this way, I would say half my bites I see before I ever feel them. Using LiveScope is, I tend to be a little distracted watching my screen more than I probably, I should probably be watching my line more. Got that one. Oh, maybe. Got him. Wow, over the brush. That one got it good there. Not a big one, but a nice one. Beauty. That's the whole thing. You just got to be persistent with that jig, and you don't get a lot of bites on it, but when you get bit on a jig, they're usually the right ones. So here's what's working. It took us a little bit, but it started out with a 5/8 ounce black and blue jig, kind of my old staple. I love it in this stained water. We started with a bigger chunk type trailer, and this in the water, it was falling pretty slow. There's a lot of wind. It's hard to get this bait down to the bottom and in the brush the way I wanted to. So then I switched to a smaller rabbit ear type of trailer, which doesn't have as much drag, so falls better in the water. And we caught a couple that way, but I was missing a couple. So what I did is I upgraded it to a 3/4 ounce black and blue jig. So we've got a 3/4 ounce black and blue jig here with a blue rabbit ear trailer, and this has seemed to be the key. I can pitch this bait out there. It falls well on a slack line. It penetrates right into the thick part of the brush where these fish seem to be. I've got this paired with 20-pound fluorocarbon line. This is a 20-pound gamma fluorocarbon. Absolutely love it. The stuff is really, really strong. This is a 7.5 flipping stick. The one I prefer is the Cast King Speed Demon Pro. This is their 7.5 flipping. And then what it's also paired with is a Cast King Speed Demon Elite. And Speed Demon Elite's important because this is a 11-to-1 gear ratio reel. This thing's super high speed. And what I like about it is when I flip it out there, when the bait falls, gets to the bottom, if I get a bite, I can reel down, set the hook good, or if that fish is swimming with it, that high-speed reel allows me to catch up to that fish and get a good hook set. Or I've flipped that thing out there in 10 to 15 foot of water. If I want to make another cast, I can reel that thing up that much faster and get my bait back into the strike zone. Uh-oh. That's a good one. Oh yeah. That's what you do this for. Come here, look at that one. So you just get out here and you keep throwing a jig in the brush piles, and you don't catch as many, but you catch the right kind. What a beauty. Wow.